What's up? What's up? Another day leveled up. It's your boy Salem, back with another one for you. Today, we're going to be talking about what I feel is really going on in the world. Brother, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? What do I see? What do I feel? My thoughts on things and how we could get through this. But before I get into anything, I'm not claiming to be Nostradamus. I'm just being honest, okay? So hear me out. So what I feel is going on is that there's an agenda to keep us in the dark on things. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but there's a lot of things that are being revealed this 2020. There's a lot of astrologers right now that say that this time in our lives right now, especially in these next few months, they expect a big transformative shift in the whole collective. They say that this consciousness and shift and this energy that is going on and how the stars and planets are aligned is the same exact formation as a civil war 400 years ago, which is insane. But I'm not here to pump out propaganda on this or that or this is going to happen. I'm just giving you facts and giving you my observations of things and how I see things are playing out and will most likely play out by what I feel I've been able to see. Even if you're not spiritual or deeply connected, you feel, I'm sure you still feel like a sense that things are just not adding up. There's a lot of people being exposed for being fakes and phonies on Instagram and things like that. People in the government, people in all kind of different industries that are just being exposed. And like Dan Blazerian, I think is his name, being exposed for where he's getting his money, and that has like rocked his own whole empire. There's this certain companies that are losing money because they're not being transparent. Gary Vee, I was watching a talk on him, and he pointed out how his sister, who is a stay-at-home mom, has been like sucking it up in the real estate industry, and she chose to film herself sucking it up. He was like, she hasn't sold shit. Like, she hasn't sold a thing, but she's been filming herself being authentic, and she's actually gaining traction, and people are buying into her because she's transparent and this is who I am. I'm just going to be authentically me, and it seems to be working. And that's what people aren't realizing, that integrity and transparency are king right now. Vulnerability will win all the time. People want what's real. People are buying into people and no longer brands and corporations because they want to see what's going on under the surface. They're no longer accepting people just at surface value. They're like, well, who is this? Let me see your daily vlog, or let me see who's actually funding this, because I rather give my money to someone who I could trust and I could actually feel like this is a person I'd want to be or sit down and conversate with, than rather just giving it to a big corporation or a person who I feel is like not showing me all their cards. Every industry and fraction of the world is changing. Integrity is being tested by all these brands and even the government lately, and that's rarely if ever happens, especially in America. But what I feel and what I have been shown is that if this is true, what the astrologers believe, and that there's a different energy that's coming into the planet that's going to heighten everyone's consciousness, then what's going to happen as well is that the things that are below the surface are going to actually be forced up. It's like the consciousness chart. You see this Hawkins consciousness chart here that it shows where like neutrality is, and it also shows where the highest consciousness is, as well as the low points of fear, anger, and things like that. But when you actually were to raise in consciousness, all those things that are below are going to surface back up to the top, and be cleaned out. They're going to be purged out. And people could liken this to like plants, like medicine, plant medicine, like shrooms or ayahuasca. Some people may think of them as bad, but what's happening is that those plants are at another vibration and consciousness level that forces you to get rid of all that anxiety, that fear, that anger, and it brings it to the surface that you may start to cry, or you may come to some revelation, heal up some past trauma and things like that, because it's actually literally raising your vibration. And if the literal vibration of the planet is actually raising, that means that everyone collectively is going to have to come to grips with the heightened and increase of consciousness, including the government. And I feel like they're barely hanging on. Like, I feel like the government's like pretty much doing everything they can to pump you up with all these things to be happy about, to be sad about, but I feel like they're all distractions to keep you in the dark of what's really going on and what to be just prepared for, because I feel they know as well. They know way more than we do. Like I said, I'm not claiming to know everything, but I'm just going off facts. I'm just going off what I believe as well. And speaking from experience, that's all I could do. That's all we could all do. The fact that people are even questioning things that they wouldn't once before, like the government and all these people that they've been led by, clearly is showing this, right? This world is a dream, and it has rules and principles. It's like a game. If you know how it works, you will then know how to put the power into your own hands. Like the ancient Toltec wisdom talks about this in the book, The Fourth and Fifth Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. One of my favorite books. I've talked about that many times. But it talks about that everyone lives their own dream. We're all living in a reality simultaneously to the collective, but everyone's reality is true to them, but it is never false to us. Truth is all subjective. It depends on the reality that you're living, but also whatever you believe in, whatever you give power to, has power over you. So if you choose to believe in something good or bad, then that will also be reflected to you. Whatever you actually truly believe in, that will be reflected back to you. For me, I like to always believe in great things, like the universe is always conspiring in my favor. And since I've came across that wisdom in the book The Alchemist, my life has done nothing but show me that that is true. Year by year by year by year, I am confirming that statement that the universe is conspiring in my favor. If I were to change that up and always have some quote I live by that is like some sad type of reality, I'm sure I would experience that as well, because your thoughts have a lot more power over you than you think. I think a lot of people forget that we have so much power over our health, our mind, our body, our soul by just mere thought, mere vibration. Like if you tune yourself to a certain vibration, you're going to experience those things. Your mind is a transmitter, it's a tuning fork. And if you could get yourself on a certain frequency, you're going to experience whatever you tune yourself to. Once we start to realize that we've been conditioned from the start, we're able to then get that power back, put that power back in our hands. That's what the Toltec wisdom does so well in teaching, is that from the very start, we've been conditioned since birth, and everyone, every society, every civilization has a narrative that their society follows. And I don't get why people think that we are just like exempt from that as well. Like we're not. Like on the very small scale of our parents, it's like there's a culture in your family that you've been conditioned to go about living out. So it's like no one has the option to not be conditioned. So you just have to realize what you've been conditioned to do, and if it's favorable to you, okay, but if not, learn how to decondition yourself. And that's what I've done for myself. That's why I call myself Salem. It's my name backwards. My name is Miles, but I'm like, nah, a lot of things I've been told do not add up. So let me unwind real quick and form my own beliefs and live from experience. If you know something's wrong, you gotta stand up and lead the way. It's like you can't allow your fellow people, your friends, your family to just be dragged along in a narrative that you know is not the truth. And I think a great example is Harriet Tubman, when she knew that the whole slave type of narrative that was keeping the black and African American people down, she chose to flee and start a path, the Underground Railroad, and showed other slaves the way. Regardless if they were fearful or not, she was like, you're coming or you're not. And the crazy thing is, like, she had a illness of narcolepsy, so she would fall asleep throughout the flee in the city and town, and these slaves still had to trust her. I can't even imagine being in that time and stakes so high, but we are now living in a spiritual warfare, and it'd be wrong for me not to even talk about this because I feel so strongly about my spirituality, and I think it differs from religion. With religion, it tells you what to do with your spirituality, what to do with your spirit, and it doesn't allow you to actually have the experience yourself and form your own opinions. And I even found myself self-condemning myself when I dove too deep in religion. And I don't think it's about actually telling you what's right and what's wrong, but it's just a rule and guide that has parables. It's not to take everything literally, but there's a lot of truth in that text, but it's not telling you how to do this and that and do that only. You have to know what to pull from and see it in a lens. We can't even begin to learn anything if there was no story. So if you control the narrative, then you could actually control the society as well. So realize that with everything you read, everything you watch, everything you play around with, there's a narrative to it. So it's up to you if you're agreeing and if you're buying into it, essentially. As far as conspiracy theories, I do not recommend people just diving down rabbit holes and trying to fixate on certain topics, and it could just lead you to like a bad vibe, bad vibration. You'll spend your time trying to change your mind on things. You may think the whole world's out to get you. And it's not to say that some of these conspiracy theories are not true, and some have been proven to be true, but they're not all false. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm not here to give you certain information as conspiracy theories because I know that's heavy information. When I actually learned about a lot of these things, it was not a happy time in my life. You know, I was literally bogged down by all this information and had to figure out how to come to grips with reality of things. And not everyone is here and could handle certain information. So regardless of if it's true or not, I'm here to just help you level up in all areas of spirituality, physically, mentally, financially. But right now we're talking about the spiritual side, and what's going on is a spiritual battle. It's spiritual warfare outside. So you have to be cognitive of this because we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. And I could sound a little woo-y, but that's what it is. You just can't dwell on certain things that may be true or not. If it's not putting you in the right vibration, take your attention from it. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. So you have to be on guard. You have to be conscious of where you're dwelling in, what vibration you're just chilling and boiling in. Like, people will sit and watch the news all day, and that's like low vibration. Like, I'll show you that consciousness chart again here. It's like, figure out if that news is actually on a level where you want to resonate. If it's below a certain point, like, get rid of it. It may be true, but like, be aware of it, but do not fixate on it. Right now, there's old structures falling apart in every facet, in the government, the media, news, everything. There's old structures just falling apart in front of our eyes right now. And I feel like the media is going to try to give you a narrative and try to have you act, feel, and think a certain way. And you have to be aware that you can't just buy into everything that they're telling you. I don't know who started and said that the news is the be-all, tell-all, be-all, like the all-holy. That's not what it is. You could ask any government, any country, they do not believe everything the government tells them, and you shouldn't either. Key I say going forward is be conscious of your energy and what you're tuning into. Why would you tune your dial to a disruptive frequency? Like, why would you turn it to static? Why would you be in your car and just find a static station and be like, yeah, this vibe? It's like, no, what? Like, you have to realize that we are the same thing. We are vibrational beings, that we can determine what we tune into. Listen to good music, meditate, become to a neutral point so you could go upwards and not be bogged down by the media and what you see every day. Regardless if it's true or not, I said, be aware of it and put your energy into something else. Why would you sit and fixate on the bad? There's so much good and bad, equal amounts on both sides. So why would you choose to dwell and fixate on the bad? And if you're in a job right now that you feel is draining you, it's probably not your highest calling. Find something that speaks to you. Find something that brings you life, makes you come alive. But I'm not saying just up and quit that job. I'm saying make a plan of action so you could get yourself out into a point where you could actually chase what you're passionate about and being authentically yourself. This is going to be a huge moment in history, a huge moment in time. I feel that we're going to be able to tell our grandkids. It's going to be in the history books. Who knows if we even have the history books by then. But it's like, this is going to be a defining moment where you decide who you are, decide who you're going to be, and if you're going to go this direction, if you're going to go that direction. But I feel there's going to be a turning point where you're going to have to realize like what direction you're going to go. So I'd recommend meditating so you can get clear and get silent in your mind to know and discern what agreements you've agreed to that weren't yours, that you've just been fed. Because until you know that, you will be swept up in the narrative that was given to you and continue to move that direction without being able to even discern if you have a choice, you know? Like, a lot of people don't even feel like they have a choice. But I'm here to tell you that you do. We all do. But we have to first learn that we have been conditioned a certain way and go about unconditioning ourselves, taking that power back, and helping everyone do the same and collectively come together and build a better future for future generations. But that's what I think. Like I said, I'm not Nostradamus, I'm just being honest. So I'd love for you to leave in the comments what you think, because I'm very passionate and interested in knowing about these things as far as spirituality, astrology, a lot of these things. So I'm always open to hearing every side of the story, opinion, idea, perspective. Leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. If you felt you resonated with any of this, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop more content. And as always, just know, a belief may be comforting, but only through true experience can be liberating. Grant yourself permission to level up. Until next time, it's your boy Salem. I'm out.